What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another weekly review and outlook. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So we're going to start on dollar as per usual, and you'll see that this is our monthly candle right here. We are slowly creeping towards the end of March, and I just wanted to bring our attention to the fact that we've traded to the 50% level of this bullish order block. You can see how we just mohawked slightly off of that, and then we've had a strong reaction away, and we've also now traded above the 50% level of last month's wick. Now, the fact that we've traded above the consequent encroachment, which is 50%, is very significant to me, as again it suggests that we're likely going to continue to see a bullish push upwards. So I'm just going to get that marked out for us, like so, and I'm going to make that dashed, and this is actually going to be the lowest I want to see price trade for me to remain bullish on dollar with the expectation to trade higher. So yeah, just make sure you take a look at the fact that we've taken out sell stops that was residing below February's low, and we've traded up above again that 50% level, that consequent encroachment, showing very strong price action and bullishness. If we drop down to the weekly, we'll also find that we've traded down into a weekly bullish order block right here, and if we are bullish, as in the price is going to continue higher, we can now describe this as a propulsion block. So we should anticipate this kind of move away from this propulsion block with the expectation to start running for premium PD arrays. So now that we're on the weekly, we need to start finding weekly PD arrays that we want to see get traded to this new week. Now, mind you, we do have very high impact news. We have interest rate announcements and some other news all throughout the week. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday we have high impact news. So we can expect a lot of volatility, but overall I'd like to see an up close candle, like an up close week. We have this fair value gap right here, but I'm not going to draw our attention to that because I anticipate us to trade to that anyway. What I am going to bring our attention to is up here, and what you'll find is there is an implied fair value gap. So between this open and this open right here, this is all an implied fair value gap, and it's because we only have delivery on the downside in terms of volume. So you can see there's only down close candles here. So I do believe price is going to seek to want to trade up into this range. So if we go down to the daily, in fact, let me just get this written out as weekly implied fair value gap, like so. And then again, you can see the midpoint of last month right here, and this is going to be the lowest I expect price to trade in the new week. So I'm going to get that marked out. So let's go down to the daily, and you'll see again a bearish order block on the daily, which I'd like to see price trade to, and a fair value gap just below here. Now, because we're so bullish and because of how aggressive the last move was, I wouldn't be surprised if price ran straight towards this weekly implied fair value gap. And what I mean by that is that Monday and Tuesday we very may well go and create the high, and then we'll see some kind of retracement back into this fair value gap right here. So although there is a fair value gap in discount, you can see very bullish price action, and I do believe price is going to seek to want to fill either this imbalance first, so trade up to here first before we see some kind of retracement, or like I said, completely trade into this weekly implied fair value gap first before we see some kind of pullback. So Monday and Tuesday I am quite bullish, and we could actually make the high of the week, and then we get a retracement, especially with non-farm payroll. A lot of manipulation is likely to occur, so that's something to consider. So I'm probably going to stay out the charts on Monday just to see how we trade, and like I said, if we do manage to reach up here, then I'd simply start looking for shorts on dollar with the expectation to run back down into this range right here. So what am I looking for? Moving into tomorrow, again, I'm looking for this level to get traded to. This is also a breaker level, high, low, higher high, and then price is delivered to the downside. So I do want to see how price trades through this. Preferably we ignore the breaker, which is technically here. Preferably we trade through it and go straight to the implied fair value gap, because again that would signal bullish prices, but we very well could turn at that point. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for tomorrow. If we go to the 4 hour, you'll see again implied fair value gap up here, and you'll see a nice 4 hour fair value gap is formed right there. So in terms of targeting, I'd like to think that price will try its hardest to get up here. Again, early in the week I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of continuation of the expansion we've been witnessing to get up there, and then I'd be expecting lower prices with an expectation of some kind of retracement. Another thing to take note of is this bearish candle right here, the fact that we were selling here, so smart money was distributing right here, means that they're likely going to be accumulating here. So we can drag this out, and you'll see how it came into that, and we're continuing to respect that, which is what's telling me that price, that they may very well be accumulating more positions, pushing price higher, again sending it towards the fair value gap that it's targeted before we actually see some lower movement. So moving into Monday, I do want to see another up close day, simply buying below the open with the expectation to reach for this bearish order block and potentially into the weekly implied fair value gap. So that's my outlook on dollar. I hope that all makes sense. And yeah, generally speaking, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll just get this drawn out for us with the path. I wouldn't be surprised if price made a high, came down midweek, made some kind of low, and then continues to trade within inside the range. So this is how I'm, framing the week so far. I doubt we're going to start retracing anytime soon, especially since we haven't completely filled in this imbalance. So I'm just going to be watching tomorrow to see how we trade in general. Right, so that's all good. Let's go to GBP USD, and we're going to start on the monthly. Get rid of these, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at here. So we traded up into this level, which is a rejection block, and you can see we've just keyed off of that level, which is nice to see. And again, of course, I'm going to have some kind of target, some limit on what I expect price to trade to. So I am looking at this wick from the month of December, and what I'll do is I'll drag this out. And the 50% level off here is the highest I want to see price trade for me to remain bearish. So moving into the new week, once we get to the weekly, we'll be watching this level to see, okay, how does price treat it? It should find resistance if we are going to be trading lower and start reaching for this fair value gap. So let's get the midpoint of this wick marked out more clearly for us. Like so. So that's the midpoint of December. We can make that red. And now we know when we drop down to the low time frame, this is the very highest I want to see price trade if we're going to be trading lower. We can go to the weekly now, and you can see how we traded right through that range beautifully. And now again, I'm watching these lows down here with a potential reach for this sell side liquidity below here and here. But first, there is another implied fair value gap like what we identified on the dollar, and that's between this open and this close. So this is an implied fair value gap. Again, why? Because there's only deliverance on the upside. So I do believe price is going to seek in the new week to trade into that. And like I said, it's very well and probably will reach for it very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if Monday opened and we were just trading lower to reach this fair value gap before we saw some kind of retracement or reversal. So let's get that drawn out. You'll also see there's a nice implied fair value gap inside of that fair value gap right here. So that's quite interesting. If we go to the daily now, we'll see that fair value gap down here, which is a bullish order block, and a fair value gap just above it. So I do believe price is going to continue to the downside on a daily basis, run lower. And once we do reach here, if we reach here before we trade higher, then I'd start looking for longs on pound with the expectation to withdraw back into the range it's going to create on the way down. So that's something I'm paying very close attention to. We can go to the 4 hour, and you'll see that midpoint on the monthly that I drew our attention to, that consequent encroachment, lines up nicely with this fair value gap. So again, price may trade to it, but it probably won't do it until later in the week. So again, Monday, Tuesday, I'm looking to see some kind of low form, and you'll see again slight fair value gap right here that price may want to reach to. And yeah, Monday should be interesting. This is going to be a very interesting week, guys, especially with non-farm payroll. You'll see there's a breaker here as well, low, high, low, low. So price might return to this, find support, and then want to trade back into that range. But I'd prefer to see price fail to trade back up here until we've dug deeper into discount. And what I mean by that is, if we look at this range from this low to this high, you can see we're just consolidating at that midpoint. So I'd like to see us at least reach to this level before we see some kind of retracement back into the range. Hope that's making sense. And finally, last but not least, we can go to euro. We'll start on the monthly on euro as well. And again, euro's taken out last month's high, very nice to see. We also traded to 50% level off this bearish order block right here, and we've just come off that, which is cool. And then yeah, we'll go to the week. We'll go straight to the weekly here. We traded into a bearish order block here, so that's acting as a propulsion block the same way we saw on dollar. And in terms of fair value gaps, yes, we have a fair value gap right here, but I'm expecting that to get traded through anyway. So now I'm looking at this implied fair value gap as a target. So I'd like to see last week's low get taken out. So this is the fair value gap on euro I want to see get traded to in terms of targeting. And then if we go down to the daily, we can start looking at the highest point I'd expect price to trade. So here is that fair value gap coupled with a bullish order block. Again, very high probability in terms of looking for or expecting some kind of reversal at this point. You can see we had a nice break to the downside with this mitigation block. Again, Monday, Tuesday, I'd like to think that we do continue lower, just because I think it's going to use that to like manipulate people into thinking we're going lower, maybe reverse it midweek. I think it's going to be an interesting week. And then we have a daily implied fair value gaps right here as well. So there is a lot of imbalance down here. So I do think price is going to draw down there quite quickly. In terms of the highest I want to see price trade, we do have a mitigation block, high, low, lower high, we've broken down. Now this is the last down close candle right here. So that's the very highest I want to see price trade. But like I said, I doubt we're going to even think about trading up there until after we've made some kind of significant swing low when we can target it, if that's the case. So that's what I'm looking at on euro. If we go to the 4 hour, we can get a better look. See where we broke down, kind of consolidating. Beautiful lows here. Relative equal lows below here. So you can see all these sell stops and sell side liquidity residing below here, which is why I believe Monday and Tuesday we are going to see a significant low form, because I think it's in a rush. It's going to be in a rush to get there. And then I'd start thinking about a potential reversal if price wants to show that. We also have a nice 4 hour fair value gap inside of the weekly fair value gap. Again, coupled. When you see couples like this, like a 4 hour gap inside of a weekly gap, again, high probability. So we can draw our attention to this level once we get down there as a potential opportunity for looking for longs, depending on what time we get there. Like we could move down here and then we have like the interest rate announcements as we're trading into it. Then we know, okay, we're likely going to turn around here, look for longs with a potential reach up to this mitigation level I was talking about. So that's my expectations moving into the new week. Should be quite interesting. Probably going to stay out the charts on Monday. It really depends though. If Monday shows a willingness to want to trade lower, I might get in with the expectation, you know, to run for the sell side liquidity I'll draw our attention to. But yeah, I'll make sure to make a post tomorrow. So that's going to be everything, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to hit comment. Follow me on Instagram at it's GBP baby. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. That's incredible. And also I have dropped a video for all the crypto heads out there, so you can make sure to go over to my channel and check that out. That's going to be everything for now, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.